now. So welcome to our first virtual incoming freshman parent orientation. We know how important it is for you to be able to know what your children will be experiencing when they come to high school next year. And this is what this evening's all about. I'm Michael Lasser, I'm the principal. What's nice about Zoom is you can actually see our names, but I think it's important that we introduce all the presenters tonight. And so at this point, I'm going to share my screen and start the presentation and introduce all the presenters. So first there's myself. Been the principal now of the high school. I'm going on my 7th year. I've been in the district though. This is going on my 27th year. It's been more than half my life I've spent in Highland Park. And so I really believe it's my home away from home. And so I don't mind welcoming you into my own home this evening. And so I'll introduce our assistant principal now, Mr. Jason Richardson. And Jace, while you speak, I will admit anyone else that knocks.
Good evening, parents. My name is Jason Richardson. I'm the assistant principal here at Highland Park High School. I assist Mr. Lassiter in the daily duties of running high school, but specifically preside over attendance as well as discipline and culture and climate.
And then we have our counselors.
Hi, welcome. My name is Miss Hayes and I'm the lead counselor here.
Hello, my name is Dana Peterson and I am one of the other counselors here at Highland Park.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jada Gore and I'm one of the school counselors here at Highland Park.
Our athletic coordinator.
Hi, everybody. My name is Craig Gervin. I am the athletic coordinator. Will answer any questions involving athletics.
Our wonderful teen center director.
Hello, good evening. My name is Elizabeth Asamoah. I'm the director of the Teen Center.
Our wonderful director of curriculum and instruction.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Christina Nicosia, and I oversee curriculum and instruction for the district, and specifically focusing target areas of science, technology, and mathematics. Welcome.
And our equally wonderful supervisor of humanities.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michelle Rodriguez. I am the supervisor of humanities for the district, and I oversee English, social studies, world language, art, and music. Welcome.
And so what I want you to know about our school is that we believe our high school, even though it's nearly 500 students, we're one big happy family. Like I said, I've been in the district many years, more than half my life, and we work very hard to really create wonderful relationships with our students. I hope that we create wonderful relationships with you. If you have an older child in the high school, you know, we work very hard on social and emotional learning, and that's our priority, particularly right now during this pandemic. We want students to feel part of the school, even if they're remote, and obviously, especially if they are able to come in person. And so what can you expect? Our door's always open. My Zoom room is open. If you need to actually meet with us, we will make ourselves available. At this point, we're all kind of tied to these devices. And so I make sure that I communicate often. And if you reach out to me, you're likely to get a response within a day, if not sooner. And that applies to parents, students, faculty, staff, and pretty much everyone. Okay, we want to make sure that you know you are welcome and we are here to serve your needs. We do so by trying to really give you some positive incentives as well. One of our fun things that we're doing in remote learning is, and it may be an email, but it's still the same way that we would have done it if it was in person. We call out our students that are our golden owls. We will actually recognize them. The teachers nominate them, students nominate each other, students nominate teachers, teachers nominate teachers, and staff members. And we try to make sure that anyone that's showing openness, wisdom, leadership, or spirit gets recognized as one of our golden owls. That's our mission. We want our children to be open. We want our students to really develop wisdom. We want them to have leadership, and we want them truly to have a positive spirit. So that's our mission here in Highland Park High School. We pride ourselves on that. And I just want to add two other things to what we try to do. And that is, if you've ever seen the wood carvings in front of the school, the owls actually have names. I don't think a lot of people know that, but Hope is the owl when you're walking to the high school that's towards the left, and Percy, short for perseverance, is the owl to the right. And in fact, I actually named them HP, obviously. But if you don't know my past, much of my time here in Highland Park was spent as an 8th grade teacher in the middle school. Okay, and so Hope is what I believe is coming from our middle school. And so all our 8th graders bring that hope to the school of what they want to do with their lives. And they persevere as high schoolers to get to the end. And so what does it mean, that day in the life of an Hbhs student? Well, there's all kinds of things that we do. Everything's very different in the pandemic. We have schedules, and I need you to know right now, if you're expecting to know what the schedule is next year, you're in the wrong place. We don't know the schedule next year, and a lot of effort and energy is going to be put into refining that schedule, developing something that will meet the needs of all our learners, regardless of whether they're vaccinated, and wherever we're at going into next year. So none of those decisions are made, but trust that there'll be daily procedures. There will be the same kinds of services, whether a student is remote or in person, that we've always had. A teen center, restorative practices, a guidance department, which we really would like to refer to more as our school career and counseling department. But everybody typically thinks of it as guidance. It's a lot more than that, particularly in this day and age. And we have a teen PEP program that's actually run by the school that reaches out and helps our students address and discuss issues of sexuality. We tackle everything at the high school level, and Teen PEP helps us do that very well. I'm not going to go over all the procedures for attendance, lateness, credits. A lot of that will come as we go, but I don't deal with those particular issues that often unless it's a very serious concern. They're more dealt with by Mr. Richardson. So I'm going to let him take over from here. And in fact, if I realize, it's his slide, so he'll go over some of those details.
Thanks for warming up the crowd, Mr. Lassiter. I greatly appreciate it. So I'll bring this slide home by addressing attendance, tardiness, and credits. And one of the biggest learning curves that your children will face when coming to high school is understanding the difference between attendance, tardiness, and credits, how it works in high school versus middle school. Number one, there are no credits in middle school. So I want you to think of it this way. Grades are what students earn based on their performance in class activities. Credits is what your students earn, what your children earn by showing up to class and being present during class. So in order to graduate in Highland Park, the range of credits that a student would earn is anywhere between either 120 or 135 based on their academic program. So if your child is earning an A in class, but not showing up to class, they will have an A for the course, but they will not receive credits. And credits are distributed in accordance to state policy, which means no matter what school they attend in the state of New Jersey, they have to follow the same rules for being present in class, also known as seat time. And so this is how it works. There's a minimum amount of unexcused absences students will have per course, and it depends on how long that program is. So for instance, I'll use this year as an example. Because we have a modified programming this year as far as time is concerned, our day is from 9 to 1. So the threshold for unexcused absences for a full year course, which is 4 marking periods, would be 12. Then you would minus 3 unexcused absences for every marking period. So for instance, if your child has a semester course, which means they only take that class for 2 marking periods, they can only have 6 unexcused absences. For every 3 tardies your child accumulates, that is the equivalent to 1 unexcused absences. In accordance to state policy, if a student is missing for more than 15 minutes without an excuse, that can actually constitute an unexcused absence. Best case scenario, it would result in a lateness. Not knowing what our programming will look like in September, it's hard to give you a definitive of what that would look like in September. We do try to offer students leeway and be a little flexible on time this year in remote learning, because obviously students may need to relieve themselves, get something to drink, or things of that nature. But generally put, in a remote setting, we're kind of hard and true to that 15-minute rule. When we're in person, that would be another case. For 1 marking period classes, that means something as far as health, you would have 3 unexcused absences. If you multiply that number by 3, which would be 9, that's how many times your child can be tardy to class before they lose credits. Now, what happens if they lose credits? Excellent question. They will have to participate in credit recovery. And the way our program is currently, it's an online program that has a vast array of activities that your child will participate in. And based on how many hours they owe, that depends on how many activities they would be obligated to do in order to earn said seat time. If they fail to meet their obligation during the credit recovery program, then they will earn a DC, which means denied credit on their transcript. So they will have a grade, but then they will have denied credit, which means they will have to participate in an online credit recovery program, likely through Eduseer, or worst case scenario, if they balk at that opportunity, they'll be forced to take the course over again. So it's very, very serious. And we all strongly encourage students to have ongoing conversations with the student support staff to monitor their attendance. But of course, keeping yourself in check and being punctual is always best practice.
Thank you.
So, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. Again, welcome. I'm Miss Melissa Hayes. I'm the lead counselor here, and I will be overseeing students with last names R through Z in their freshman year.
My name is Miss Peterson, and I have incoming freshman students with the last name J through Q.
Okay, and I'm Miss Gore. So all of my freshmen with the last names A through H, I'm ready for you.
So as school counselors, we take on an array of responsibilities, as Mr. Lassiter was saying, to improve the lives of our students, both inside and outside of the classroom. We're advocates for our students and assist our students with academic decisions, college and career planning, and personal or social issues. Some of our responsibilities are listed here on this slide, but we always put our students at the top of the list. I would say our favorite part of the job is getting to know our kids and helping them reach their post-secondary goals. Next slide. Okay. So tips for a successful year. I just want to start out by saying freshman year is one of the most important years of high school, as it really sets the tone for the student's high school career. How students perform in 9th grade has a direct effect on the opportunities available to them in their senior year. Okay, so I'm not going to read verbatim from the slide, but we recommend that students and parents check Genesis regularly so that they can stay on top of their grades and attendance, and also their teachers' Google Classroom and their school counselors' Google Classroom. During remote learning, the counselors all created Google Classrooms, and that's how we share out information with the students. So any announcements that we have and any opportunities for the kids, there's a ton of scholarship opportunities, more opportunities that I've ever seen before this year. So make sure that your child is checking the Google Classroom, not only of their teacher, but also of their counselor. Naviance, Ms. Gore is going to go over that, but definitely a great tool that we want students to utilize throughout their high school career for college and career planning. Every year counts. So for students who are interested in attending college, the first 3 years of high school are most important in terms of that GPA, because the GPA that is sent off to colleges is the GPA at the end of junior year. Okay, so every year counts, but especially those first 3 years are really crucial. Don't be afraid to ask questions. If your child is struggling in a subject or subjects, our National Honor Society kids, our juniors and seniors, are available for tutoring, and the teachers are also available for office hours, whether that's on Zoom or in the building. And check in regularly with your school counselor. Come say hi and get to know us. Next slide. Okay, so scheduling, and many of you probably have questions about this. On March 11th, Thursday, students will be given the opportunity to meet their counselor during their PE classes via Zoom. Okay, so on the 1st of this month, a letter was sent out detailing this information, including a course selection Google form and a program planning guide, which provides you with a detailed description of each course. Okay, so please make sure you're logging on to the Genesis portal and reviewing the teacher recommendations with your child prior to their meetings with the counselor. And also make sure that that course selection form is complete. So students should show up to their meetings with Mr. Lobianco with the course selection sheet being completed. If you have any questions on a course, feel free to email us. Reach out to us, we're available. We'll be meeting with the students in small groups, and Mr. Lobianco will be following up on an individual basis to input those course requests. Okay, again, if you have any questions or any concerns, don't hesitate to reach out via email. We'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hayes. So as Ms. Hayes mentioned, Naviance, this is a powerhouse, especially inside of the guidance department. It will be one of the most important resources you will have as a parent of a high school student. We, as the school counselors, rely heavily on Naviance to help with our students in the college and career search. So this is a college career search platform that will allow students to research things about the schools that they have interest in, 2-year, 4-year institutions, and secondary schools, okay? It does promote early planning. Students are able to explore personal interests and hundreds of potential career options and opportunities through this platform. They're able to record and monitor personal goals within Naviance as well. So the other component of Naviance that we find to be critically important is that we can relay information to you and your child through our communication from Highland Park High School. One thing that's going to be very important for students to check their student email, because we send a lot of emails about opportunities through Naviance. Each student is going to be provided with a username and password and access to their own Naviance login and account information.
All right. Oh, am I muffled? Is that me? Can you hear me? Okay. All right, so getting involved. High school is a great opportunity for students to start building their resume for the future. And here you can see a list of some of our clubs and sports that we offer. Getting involved is important for when planning for the future because we want our students to be able to speak to things that they've done in high school. When students are going for a job interview in the future or applying to college, we want them to be able to say, yes, I was on the tennis team for 4 years, or yes, I was in DECA for 4 years, and by my senior year, I was, in a leadership position in that club. Colleges and potential employers like to see that the students are involved and engaged in the school community. We want our students to have full resumes that will set them up for success in the future. And lastly, just getting involved enhances the students' experience in high school. It helps them create memories and accomplish things that they can be proud of in the future, which is great. I coach the girls basketball team here at Highland Park, and the girls have a blast. They really do. They like being with each other. They like, challenging themselves in basketball. And I definitely, encourage incoming freshman students to try new things and definitely get involved.
Hi, everybody. I'm Craig Gervin. Again, I'm the athletic coordinator. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of our program. We have 14 varsity and JV sports here at Highland Park. We now have a link to our athletic department and information on the school website. So that is your key to finding out information about what's going on. You can also link to our schedule, where you can be notified of your child's activities in athletics at least and get any changes that might occur. We have a storied athletic tradition at Highland Park. Most recently, in 2018, we won the ShopRite Cup, which is the award for the best sports program in the state as a small school. So we are very fortunate to win that. We have also been state champions in girls track in 2018 and state champions in boys tennis in 2019. So that's our program. All of the things that happen in athletics fall under the guidance of the NJSIAA, the governing body, the regulatory body of high school sports. The most important thing I think for all of you to know is that for every year you need a new physical and the paperwork for permission slip and all types of forms that need to be completed. Once again, all this stuff, there is a link now to all the paperwork on the website, so that would be great. The other thing just to keep in mind, hopefully we won't have to deal with this, but to be eligible to participate in athletics, students need the equivalent of 15 credits at the semester break and then 30 credits at least for the year. One thing we always stress in any activity that you're involved in Highland Park is to strive to be a leadership, to move into leadership positions. And of course, we have captains of our team that act as mentors for our younger athletes and just be excellent leaders for our teams. Just lastly, to be perfectly honest, it is extremely difficult to earn an athletic scholarship. They're very rare. We generally run athletic programs to help our kids enjoy their high school experience. And like Ms. Peterson said, a lot of kids really enjoy playing on our teams, and I think it's a great experience. That said, we've been very successful in the past few years, and we have athletes who have earned scholarships, or at least partial scholarships, to Georgetown, 2 at Rutgers, and we have an athlete going on to Northeastern with some athletic scholarship money. So we've had some good success there. The NCAA is the governing body of college athletics. And if your child is interested in participating in athletics in college, they should contact their guidance counselor, probably in the sophomore or junior year, and they can get them signed up, with something that's called the NCAA clearinghouse, just to make sure that they are on track to be able to participate in college. So I think that's it for athletics. Again, the website is there. It has all the information for the coaches. There's contact for me, and that's the best way to find out some additional information.
Ms. Asamoah.
Hello again. My name is Elizabeth Asamoah. I'm the director of the Teen Center. So the Teen Center is a comprehensive youth services program and is open to all middle school and high school students. So some of the services that we offer in terms of parents and the students, we do have counseling. The counseling services are family and individual. So this is how that happens. If a student is referred to us, a student can self-refer. Student can come down to the Teen Center and say they want to meet with a counselor, or they can be referred by the guidance counselor or a teacher or any staff in the school. So once that happens, we will meet with the student. We will try to get some information from them, and then we will contact the parent and or guardian. We will not meet with a student. We will not provide counseling services without a signed consent form from the parent or guardian. So after we talk to the parent, we will also send a consent form home, and once they sign it, then we can begin to do some work with the student. Sometimes it's also very important that we involve the families because based on maybe the student's presentation issue, it will be necessary to have the families or the parents involved. And so we will do that too. The counseling services happen. We know, if it's family counseling, because we know families work, parents work, and so we try to accommodate your schedule. So whoever reaches out to the parents will try to figure out what time is the best for you. It could be in the morning or it could be in the evening. Anytime that's available, that's suitable for the family, we try to accommodate that. With the students, we meet with them during school hours. We pull them from certain classes that they're not failing or classes that they're doing well in. And also we try to also meet with them after school. So that's part of what we offer for them as well. In terms of group, so with group, what we do when school starts in September, we go into all the classrooms. This past year we did it virtual. So we go into all the classrooms and we have a listing of all our groups. So the students can select whichever groups they want to participate in. Some are stress management, anger management, and international. That's a support group for our international students. We also have social skills group and many groups. So once the students sign up for the group, once again, we contact the parents to let them know to give us a consent form. And after we get the consent form, we will also start having them in group. The groups are usually 6 to 8 weeks. We talk about a lot of issues, and parents are always welcome to call us if they have any questions about any discussion in the group or whatever. We are more than happy to share the curriculum that we are using with the families. Summer transitional program is for our incoming freshmen. We collaborate with the guidance department to do that. So what this is about is just getting them to talk about social emotional learning and also mental health issues, just so that they are prepared for high school. We have a curriculum that we use. It talks about a whole lot of things: career planning, goal setting, and all these things that are very important to our young people. But we also focus mostly on their mental health issues because if they are doing very well mentally, they tend to also do very well in school. So that's one of the what we do for our incoming freshmen. The Teen Center, we have 4 full-time staff there. That'll be me, the director, Ms. Asamoah. There's Dr. Roth, who's a psychologist. There's Ms. Holman, who's the family support case manager. What she does, Ms. Holman, what she does is, for families that are having financial needs or any other needs that they can contact us, and she will give them a gift card or whatever support that they need in social services. That term, she's able to afford that and provide that for them. Also, we have our secretary, Ms. Harper, and so if anybody contacts Ms. Harper, she'll also be able to assist them and direct them to the right person. Every year, we get interns from the GAZAP program at Rutgers, and also we get social work interns, and so they also provide counseling for our students. And usually we get about maybe 4. And so if a student is assigned to a counselor, when they call you, they will talk to you and you can ask them questions. So once a student is assigned, it does not necessarily mean that they are stuck with this person. Sometimes a kid might decide, I don't want this counselor, I want a different counselor or whatever. We give them that opportunity. So I want you to see the Teen Center. It's almost like going to a community mental health services, except that we are based in the school. We are part of the school, and we try to work with your students at no cost to you. So anytime you want to call, please feel free to get in touch, and we'll be able to assist you and answer any questions that you may have. Thank you. Okay. Hello, that's me again. I'm not the school nurse. I'm just standing in for the school nurse. So meeting your child's medical needs. So I'm going to read from the note she gave me. So what she does, how do we do it? So there's procedures for illnesses and dismissals. So high school credit counts. So if a student goes home through the nurse's office, it is excused. If they text a parent, if the student texts the parent, because now almost all the kids have cell phones. So if they text a parent and say, I'm not feeling well, I want to be picked up from school, it will not be excused because that did not go through the nurse. So if your child calls you and wants to be picked up, just advise them to go to the nurse so that the nurse will give them permission to leave. The nurse will just call the parent just so that they know that the child wants to leave. But if the parent picks up the child without informing the nurse, then they have to come back to school the next day with a doctor's note so that they know that is excused. So when we are in school and your child texts you that they are sick, send it to the nurse's office first. All right. Also, for high school students are allowed to walk home. So if the nurse assesses them and they're well enough to walk home, they will have them fill out a form, a consent form to walk home. The nurse will always call the parent to make sure it's okay for them to walk home, or if they prefer to pick them up. For the sports physicals, the only difference between the middle school and high school sports physical is that the high school starts earlier. Fall sports start around August 15th. So if your child is going to need a physical, try to get it done this spring or the beginning of summer, and do not delay, it will not delay their start time. For now, currently there's a box in the vestibule of the high school, so you can drop off the form after you fill it out, or you can pick up a form from there to fill it out. All your child physical needs will transfer over from the middle school if they play sports in the middle school. As in the middle school, if your child needs to have any medication in the school, please fill out the forms and bring them the forms to the nurse's office, who will be aware of that. Feel free to call the nurse, and or she's also here for your child, and also to answer any questions that you will have. The nurse's name is Janie Major. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Asamoah, for stepping in for Ms. Mazur, who had to be away. And so most of the rest of the presentation is going to be done by Dr. Nicosia and Ms. Rodriguez. But I do want to let you know that as principal of the high school, we offer a wide range of courses, and we are ever expanding. Every year I get a proposal for a new course across my desk, and I vet them with the teacher, with Dr. Nicosia, or with Ms. Rodriguez to determine whether the course is something that we should run or not. And typically we make every effort to run every course. But I do need you to know that in the program planning guide, there are asterisks and dates next to courses that did not run this year, that may not have run in the past, because we are a request-based school. If we don't get enough requests for courses, we can't run them all. And inevitably in a small school, we will also run into times when a student can't take two courses that they want to because they're scheduled at the same period. And so that's something always to keep in mind as you come in and as you make course selections with your children, that we'll do our best, but they may not get every course that they want. And lastly, one of the things I'm very proud of is that we will be up to 16, if not 17 AP courses being offered by our small school. And so if a student leaves our school having taken 8, which is typical, advanced placement courses, I think that's pretty impressive, that they're able to take advantage of all these great opportunities at such a small high school. Dr. Nicosia, I'm not sure if you want to add anything on this slide, or if you want me to just advance to the next one.
So I just wanted to add that we're, like Mr. Lassiter said, and thank you for that, that we're always expanding and thinking outside the box to try to develop curriculum and courses that meet the needs of all of our students. The science department added a new one to our repertoire, nutritional science, which ran for the first time this year, taught by Mr. Kruger, that provides an awesome opportunity for our students to dive into, nutrition, how it impacts health and your body and for our athletes and things like that. So again, we're always looking to make sure we're staying on top of things and embedding in opportunities that meet the needs of all of our students. Next slide. Okay, thank you. Oh,
You want me to go over this one?
oh yes, please. Thank you. Sorry.
And so not a problem. And so these are all the requirements that the state puts out for graduation. They have to take 4 years of English. They have to take at least 3 years of math. They have to take 3 years of social studies, typically world history, US history 1 and US history 2. They also have to take what amounts to 3.75 credits each year in health, safety, physical education, but we always give them 4 full credits every year. In science, they have to take their full 15 credits, 3 lab sciences before they graduate. In the arts, they have to take at least 1, whether that be visual, meaning your traditional arts courses, or performing, meaning our music program. Okay. World languages, they need to only take 1 year of world language to graduate, but I need you to know, as a school focused on developing global citizens, we always hope that they take more than 1 year of world language so that they can expand their ability to communicate with others. Colleges require 2, and those advanced colleges that they may want to be in and prestigious colleges, it's 3 to 4 years of world language is typically required. They do have to take 1 technology-based course that is focused on their career or career readiness. And so 1 course in that category, and we offer a variety of business-focused courses and technology-based courses.
Did she poop?
And again, please stay muted, okay? And lastly, they have to take 2.5 credits 1 semester of Intro to Economics and Personal Finance, which we strongly encourage them to take their freshman year. If they take it their freshman year, they get introduced to Naviance with the teacher and the counselors working directly with them to start thinking as a freshman, what kind of courses do I really want to take in high school, and where do I want to go when I graduate? It's a great course, and it's really designed to be taken freshman year now. Dr. Nikosia.
All right, so I will provide some helpful tips and information for freshman year in regards to science, tech, and mathematics. Oh, thank you. So first, something that I'm very proud of with our science department is one of the things that you'll notice is that there isn't necessarily a guided flow chart on what science to take and in which particular order. One of the things we wanted to do was open up our science course offerings. And so really how we talk about our science courses is that there's 1 required science course, and then every other course that we offer at the high school is an elective. So biology is the only required course. So that is a high school graduation requirement from the New Jersey Department of Education. Other than biology, students can elect to take any other science course with any level of their choosing. So we offer everything from chemistry classes to forensics, different physics level courses. This year we offered a calculus-based AP physics course simultaneously as the algebra-based AP physics course, environmental science courses, nutritional science. So we really try to provide a wealth of opportunities to meet the changing demands of science education and our students' needs. So one of the things that hopefully your child has come home to talk about is the opportunity we gave in their current 8th grade science course. Some of our high school students may have visited your child's science course with Miss Maroon or Miss Branchek and talked about some of the courses, some of the things they do in those courses, and really just kind of promote them, because we think that the course descriptions don't necessarily do the courses justice. In addition, they probably received a video from me explaining some of what I'm talking about today as well, to try to promote the students to take courses that best meet their needs. One of the things that we do that I do want to make sure I highlight is that When selecting science courses, you do want to consider post-high school choices. So, and that's something you can work with your guidance counselors on. They've been in many of my meetings to talk about the program of study. So some colleges and universities do require that they have maybe a chemistry class or a physics class, like the 3 core ones. If they're going for, pursuing, something in an engineering field, they may want to take more physics-based classes, things like that. So it's important to consider post-high school choices when selecting those science courses. And I will say that every single one of our science courses that we offer in our curriculum guide fulfills graduation requirements, what Mr. Lassiter was saying on that previous slide, meaning that they are all lab-based science courses. So they all fulfill any of those credits. And they all, I'm very proud to say, they all meet NCAA requirements as well, as to what Mr. Gervin was talking about. So they meet all of those requirements. Okay, next slide, please. So moving on to mathematics, we pride ourselves on having a 21st century view of mathematics in Highland Park. So when we talk about that, we mean that mathematics isn't a simple, there's one way to a right answer and you're either right or wrong. I think there's a very traditional way of thinking about mathematics in which people thought that mathematics, you have a fixed mindset, like you're either born a mathematician or you're not. And we here in Highland Park really believe in a growth mindset that all of our students can learn mathematics at high levels. And good at math means thinking deeply and being able to reason. So we don't say that a good mathematician is someone that gets the right answers. We say a good mathematician is someone that can think deeply and be able to reason critically with the information. We focus on depth and not speed. So we're not all about doing math quickly. We want to make sure that we have some depth and think about multiple strategies to get to the right answer and problem solving. We really try to have a view of mathematics as being creative and thinking creatively, thinking about different ways of seeing math and explaining concepts so that students can explain concepts written. They can do it using manipulatives, draw pictures. How are we able to use multiple strategies and explain concepts? And in that way, we really want to encourage our students to, encourage a broader range of mathematicians that are coming out of our program. Next slide, please. Thank you. So you can see from the science course. Oh,
Sorry about that.
that's okay. I'll do the math first. Oh, no, I'll do the science. Okay. That's okay. I'll do that. It's hard when I'm not controlling, and I'm a control freak, so I like to.
I know we're.
I like to click
here,
the
right?
buttons. Okay, so this is what I was talking about with our science course offerings. So it looks linear, but it's not. We just grouped them this way so you could see the courses that we offer from a college preparatory standpoint and those that are our honors or advanced placement classes. So like I said, you can take any of these. I will communicate and highlight that if you are a freshman, all of our freshmen, they could take an AP level class. We don't discourage that. If students are interested in taking one of our AP level classes, the only requirement is that they meet with Mr. Lassiter and their guidance counselor. And that's to really ensure AP readiness. It's a college level class, so it is incredibly rigorous and demanding. So we just want to make sure students understand the full depth of the requirement of the course, like what you're getting into, and things like that before getting approval. So that's really the only thing for as a freshman taking AP classes that we, I'm sure Ms. Rodriguez will highlight too, is making sure that you have that, readiness to be in an AP class. But if Mr. Lassiter approves you and your guidance counselor feels comfortable, then we encourage you to take AP classes as well anytime in your course, your high school course career. So you can see all of our options here. There's plenty of if there's a course here that you're interested in that we don't offer, we do have options, which I'll talk about in our math trajectory for honors, the options like independent studies and things like that. So, speaking of our math course requirements, we've had students take independent studies in multivariable calc, AP stats and things like that for courses that we might not necessarily offer because of the size of our school district and the limited personnel, but we do have options for independent study courses as well. Oh, go ahead.
The one thing I do want to say on that, just to make sure, independent studies typically are done by juniors or seniors, just because they do take a lot of discipline. And independent studies cannot get an AP designation. You could do an independent study and take an AP test, but I wouldn't be able to call an independent study an AP course.
Thank you for that clarification, but they still could take the test and get a score on that test. Thank you. So this is our mathematics course offering. So this is a little bit more linear just because of the nature of the math standards. There are some like prerequisite knowledge skills to advance on. So there's a certain level of knowledge for algebra before taking algebra 2, and maybe pre-calc before taking calc and things like that. So you can see that we have trajectories. However, it doesn't mean that you can't, sort of move on the continuum based on, your level of readiness. So we do have some options, and depending on where you are, kind of, what I wanted to focus to show you on that, regardless of that trajectory, that higher level math courses are included in every trajectory. So if you're an incoming freshman and you're in algebra, you can hit the college level class pre-calculus, which is a college level class. It's not an AP class, but it is a college level math class, by your senior year. So that every trajectory from, algebra 2 through, geometry to algebra 1, you can hit high level, college level or college based classes by the time you're a senior and at the high school. And I just wanted to highlight, I don't think that, I thank Mr. Gervin for promoting the website there. I wish I could view how many times it gets some clicks, but I will promote the website for curriculum and instruction. So if you go to the district website under departments and curriculum, and you go to STEM, so I'm sure, Ms. Rodriguez will show, or talk about the humanities one, but if you go there, that's where you'll find curriculum for both humanities and STEM. So you'll find math curriculum, there's science curriculum, tech curriculum. You can also see information on understanding the math standards, including assessment work that is done at the state level, understanding the science standards, and there's a bunch of resources there as well. So we strongly encourage you to check out curriculum if the course description isn't enough and you want to see the trajectory, where is trig taught, things like that. The curriculum documents are a great place to go for that. And also my contact information is on the website as well, if you wanted to email me. Thank you.
Hi again. I'm Michelle Rodriguez, the Humanities Supervisor. And so I'm going to talk about some of the offerings for the humanities. So as was mentioned earlier, all students are required to take English for 4 years. So all of the students will be in an English class. What I do want to stress is that as students transition to high school level academics, that there will be an increase in the amount of reading and writing that is assigned and expected across all the subject areas. So it's important that students have good study habits, that they have dedicated time to study and work on their assignments, that they get used to, keeping a schedule of their assignment deadlines, that they have a to-do list. Every child is different, but it's important that they have habits and routines in place to help them be successful with the workload, obviously. We also encourage the students to self-advocate, encouraging them that when they feel like they need guidance and support, for them to go to their teachers or guidance counselors, to the administration, or even to the teen center, whether that be for academic guidance and support or personal support as well. And there are resources and supports available to them to help them transition from middle school to high school in this area. For world language, we offer Mandarin, and there's levels. We offer levels 1 to 3, and there's also cultural heritage for students who are more fluent in the language already. We also offer Spanish levels 1 to 5, and we also offer AP Spanish, and there's also a heritage speakers class for students who Like for Mandarin, may have some fluency in the language already. Like Mr. Lassiter said, we do encourage students, though only 1 year is required, we do encourage the students to take more than 1 year. We are a school that offers the opportunity to achieve the seal of biliteracy. It's an award that recognizes that a student has attained a certain level of proficiency in 2 or more languages. English is one of them. And then there is students have to show proficiency, a linguistic proficiency level of at least intermediate, middle, or higher in a world language. And they must show this proficiency in reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So that opportunity is available to the students as well.
And just to add one, like I said in the beginning, we add courses so quickly sometimes. We actually have proposed and should have approved Mandarin 4. And so our Mandarin program is growing. And additionally, one other thing that a lot of people don't realize with the seal of biliteracy, if you have 2 languages spoken in your home, your child may be able to take a test on a language that wouldn't be one of our traditional offerings, but they may truly be biliterate, and we can get them actually tested in that language, and they could receive the seal that way. We've had that done in the past.
We are also looking in the future as the students move up in levels to offer AP Mandarin as well. For social studies, I think this was mentioned also earlier, typically freshmen would take world history. This year for September 2021, students will actually have a choice because we will be offering AP World History for the first time. Like Dr. Nicosia said earlier, it is designed, AP classes are designed to be the equivalent of an introductory college or university level class. So there is more rigor and it is a challenging class. It's designed for students who are interested in terms of AP World History. It is designed for children who are interested in taking a deep dive into the cultural, economic, political, and social developments that shape the world. Thinking about students who are strong readers and writers, who have strong analytical skills to think like a historian. Like Dr. Nicosia mentioned earlier, if students are interested, they must mention it to their guidance counselor so they can meet with Mr. Lassiter and the guidance counselor to make sure that they are ready to take on the challenge of the class. For social studies, I was moving into electives. There are 4 electives that students can elect to take. They are half semester courses: criminal justice, race, gender, and ethnicity, civics in modern America, and international relations. There are additional electives that are available as well. They offer opportunities to, you can go to the next one. I'm sorry, Mr. Lassiter. They do offer opportunities for students to delve into their passions, to have students learn new things, inspire them to get into, like I said, new things. It does provide a little bit of a different environment because there's more of a mix of grades and age level students in those classes. And they also offer opportunities for experiences outside of the classroom through trips and competitions. On the next slide, there are some examples of some of the visual and performing arts opportunities and classes that students can engage with.
And so before I go into special education, as you can see, we could probably spend hours explaining everything we have to offer. I know we didn't talk about psychology. I know we didn't talk about every single elective we offer, but we have tremendous programs in our high school. I'm very proud of everything that our high school faculty has worked on developing. we have an incredibly supportive administration with Dr. Nicosia and Ms. Rodriguez, and everyone that you've seen tonight is out to help every kid reach their full potential and have the opportunities to take any course that they want. And so I do want to speak a little bit to those students that have special needs. We do have a very robust in-class resource program. I've actually tried to make sure that the teachers that support general education classes and support our special education students in those classes are matched up with teachers that they have time to prepare with and that they have some interest in that field. I can remember interviewing teachers that are strictly ICR only, in-class resource only, and matching them with the maths and sciences or the humanities based on their interests. Our replacement classes are a smaller class setting, are for those students that need that specialized attention, but they never get larger than 10. They're not even allowed to by law. We also have a program that I'm particularly proud of. Our GLOW program, Growing and Learning Outside Walls, literally came from teachers having to think about what can we do really special for our most ed needs population in the afternoons after Hurricane Sandy shut down our school. They sat around the table and brainstormed and came up with this fantastic program that began in middle school, expanded into high school, and now provides our 12 plus, that means they're past 12th grade, but still have the right and need to have access to education through the high school until they're 21 years old, to actually work in the community. Now, clearly it's been a little struggle during the pandemic, but our teacher who runs that program has come up with a very robust virtual experience for those students to be able to still learn the skills they need to transition. All of these obviously are driven by IEPs, which if your child has, we make sure that we meet the needs the best we can based on those plans. Ms. Susie Budine, the Director of Special Education, is in charge of our program. Ms. Dee Dee Deecher, who is on leave this year, is the Supervisor of Special Education. She should be returning next year to continue supporting that. We've hired an interim to get us through this year, who's doing a great job, Ms. Publicover. And we have the case managers who are exemplary. So if you have questions for your child's needs and what kind of program they're going to take in high school, please don't hesitate to reach out to Miss Stephanie Barr. Do so quickly. She'll be on maternity leave soon, but we do have a replacement coming in to take her place. Mrs. Kendra Dickerson and Miss Elizabeth Ruparski are new to our district, but they've been working very hard and collaborating with the middle school administration and faculty as well to learn probably your kids. And if you do have a child with special needs, most likely you've met one of these three women. So let's see how we did on time. Awesome. We finished pretty much just in an hour, which is always the hope. You talk to people, actually more than 15 minutes, they lose the track, but we tried to keep it to a reasonable amount of time. And as I promised, we will open up to questions and answers. I would ask if we can do so. I'm actually going to stop my share. If I need to call back the presentation to reflect on a question, I will do so. But we ask that you have two choices in regards to how you want to share your question. You can raise your hand, which you do so by actually clicking on, if I remember correctly, reactions on the bottom of your Zoom toolbar and click raise your hand. I'm going to do it right now so you'll see what you should look like. Okay. Mine's kind of blending into the background there, but I'll put my face over it. Okay, so you can see a little hand up if you actually raise your hand. After you raise your hand, I would ask that you lower your hand, or it will stay there and we'll still think you have another question. Or, probably easier for most of you, you do have the ability to chat your question, but I would put it out there, chat to everyone, because the likelihood that your question is the same question that someone else has is probably pretty high. Okay, and we'll go with raised hands first because we'd love to hear from you. We've been talking at you a long time, and I would ask if you have specific questions for specific people, please mention that person by name in your question so they know to be the one to respond, or I will have a habit of being the only one that responds and talking way too much, and you probably don't want to hear just from me. So if you have no questions, we will be amazed that we did such a great job. Mr. Scott, first question.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if I quite understood if the form, the Google form that the folks can fill out requesting courses, has that been sent out already?
Yes, that was sent out on the 1st of March. So you should have a copy of that letter.
So I don't have a copy and my daughter doesn't seem to have a copy, but we may just not be searching our email right. Was there a title to it, or did it come through Genesis, or?
It did come through Genesis, and I'll let Ms. Hayes speak to the title of that particular document and email.
Yes, so I was just gonna say, if you have trouble locating it, I'd be happy to email you a copy so it's fresh in your inbox.
Well, I'm just saying other people might also not be able to find it. This sort of happens, you know, half the time I'm sending other people my version of it, half the time they're sending me mine. If you could just give us the title of the email, we might be able to find it, and otherwise we would reach out to you.
Sure, just give me a second to pull it up. Okay, I'll get back to you.
And we will also follow up this meeting not only with a link to this presentation for those that missed it, but probably another email with that particular document where the guidance counselors actually introduce themselves, put a link to the program planning guide, and put a link to the course request form. Next question, Ms. Kambitsis. Can't hear you, you have to unmute yourself.
Hi, how are you? Was
Good.
Rob Scott referring to the course selection form?
Yes.
Okay, and that's the form that needs to be filled out by next week when they meet with their guidance counselors, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Also, can you please let me know where we can find the teacher's recommendations for the courses for next year? Is it in Genesis? Because I couldn't find it.
So great question, and this is for everyone, just listen carefully. They're not there yet. They will come out when the progress reports get reported this Friday. You will see all the recommendations from the 8th grade teachers. And one note on recommendations, there will be no recommendations for AP World History. Ms. Faringa will not be making those recommendations. And in fact, we have a long-standing practice in the high school that if a student wants to take an AP course, they don't need a recommendation for it. They can take an AP course. We don't want any student to feel excluded from an AP course. The only reason a 9th grader would meet with me to have that conversation is not so that I can discourage them, but so I can make very clear that the College Board that runs AP doesn't recommend that 9th graders take AP courses. So I want to make sure that they know really what they're getting into. We want to set our students up for success and not for failure.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
no problem. Any other questions that you want to raise your hand and just kind of put them out there for us? And again, ask who you want to respond, or I will probably talk too much. Also, after you ask your question, you want to go back to reactions and lower your hand too. Okay, I think we have a bunch in the chat. Mr. Richardson, if you see any particular questions, you want to read them out. Actually, I don't see too many.
I just want to circle back to the question that was asked. I left it in the chat, 8th grade parent night. That's the title. And again, the letter was sent out on March 1st. If you search your inboxes for March 1st.
Thank you so much. Well, I can't believe that you guys have no questions. If we did that great a job, we're proud of ourselves. We really appreciate you being here this evening. I don't want to cut it short. I'm going to exercise good teacher wait time in case there's any more questions. It does look like Mr. Scott has another question.
Sorry,
No problem.
I'm confused because we found teacher recommendations on Genesis under scheduling under requests already. So are those not real or are they actual recommendations?
Let's just say that the teachers are putting them in. They weren't necessarily being put out there that they were finished until progress reports post tomorrow. Okay, so if they're in there already, there may be one last little tweak a teacher might want to make. I would check them tomorrow. They are due tomorrow morning by 8 o'clock. So the fact that you can see them already, that a teacher put them in, isn't necessarily a surprise to me. But realize that they have between now and 8 a.m. tomorrow, which they're not likely to change them, to potentially make a change.
I had just one other question. I think I recall you saying during your presentation that you were strongly encouraging all freshmen to take the introduction to personal finance class.
Yes.
So I've had a couple kids go before me, and from experience, what that does to a freshman's schedule, if they take that class and say they're the kind of kid who does band and a foreign language too, it means that that freshman schedule is virtually devoid of electives. It leaves only half a semester for some other elective, like an art class or something else.
Well, if they're, yeah, possibly, but if they're in the music program, that's an elective program anyway, that they would be taking during a period. And so as a required course, again, we do encourage students to take it their freshman year. It does still allow time for them to take other electives, and they do have 3 other years to explore the rest of the elective programs. So if you want direct inter sessions by the counselors with someone focused on what that course is all about, I will again strongly encourage everyone to encourage their student who's in coming into ninth grade to take that course freshman year. Miss Milstead.
Yes, hi, good evening. I've been having a problem, I'm going to say for years now, that I don't receive any emails from Genesis at all. This is something that I think I'm not the only one. There's other parents that have the problem. This is why I think Scott's saying that sometimes we forward emails to each other or post emails to each other. I had even reached out to the superintendent and asked if it was possible for some of these things like forms or things that are important to be posted either at the district's page on Facebook or the district website. But for some reason, it doesn't happen. So like some of these documents, if actually today's meeting, if it wasn't because somebody posted it on a parent group on Facebook, I never would have found out because I don't get any communication from the district, even though my email is correct.
And so you've reached out to the middle school main office and the secretaries or Miss Brady there to double check that your email's right in the system?
Yes, and to the superintendent also. And the email is correct. And sometimes I get it, most times I don't.
And so I would ask you to forward an email at this point to tech support at hbschools.net.
Oh, no. Mr. Lassiter, can I jump in? Yeah, so
No problem.
any Genesis related technical issues, you can email and I'll put it in the chat. It's HP Genesis. Hold on, I'll put it in the chat right now. If you email, there's a Genesis support email that you can email directly, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Nicosia.
You're welcome. I just put it in the chat for everybody. If you have technical related Genesis questions that weren't able to be resolved locally at your school, please email that email.
Any other questions? Yeah, we rely on Genesis. We really try to put all our information out that way. We also rely on our student emails. Oftentimes they're emailed the same emails that the parents' emails that we have in Genesis are as well. So we do try to get every bit of information out there as much as possible. Ms. Kambitsis. Can't hear you, ma'am.
Hi, sorry about that. Can you
No
please
problem.
tell me what AP classes you have available for the ninth graders?
So again, there really aren't AP courses that are specific to ninth grade. A student would choose one of those AP courses and then meet with me and their counselor. So they should definitely talk with one of the high school counselors about the AP course that they might be interested based on their last name. And so your child, if they were interested, would talk to Ms. Peterson. Okay, and in regards to AP courses more directed at ninth grade, I will just give you an idea. This is not like the rule. AP World History is one that's really open for students grades 9 through 12. However, it's recommended that they have some experience in world history, the regular course, before they take the AP World History course, unless they are really avid and active readers and ready to do college level research going into ninth grade. A student that is really advanced in math might be interested in going into AP Physics sooner than what would typically be an 11th grade course. A student that is already, and we've had them, done with pre-calculus or algebra, they may want to actually take the AP Calculus AB course. And I don't think we've had that just yet, but we've gotten more and more students that are ready for some advanced courses, and that's why we're even having this conversation. Years ago, when I met with incoming parents for our freshman class, we never even mentioned AP. Okay, now we want to make sure that if there is an advanced student coming into our high school, we can meet their needs.
Okay, thank you.
Mike, I see a question. I see two questions in the chat. One is, do we have the course number for AP World History yet, or not yet because it's hasn't been put in the guide? Ms. Rodriguez, can you? Oh.
It is in the guide, the new updated program planning guide, and it is in Genesis. So I'm not sure the parents necessarily need to know the number, but if they're interested, and I cannot believe I remember this right now, but it's because I just literally put it into Genesis at the beginning of the week. It's SS 541.
And then another question in the, so SS 541, and then another question in the chat is, can students take an AP course instead of an honors course, or do they always have to take the coordinating honors course first?
No, they can take an AP course instead of an honors course. A great example would be actually, this is a little bit more complicated to explain, but our 11th grade US 2 history course, which is typically done in 11th grade, and our 11th grade English course actually have a new way of allowing you to get honors distinction. We actually want the students by their 11th grade year to determine, maybe they've never taken an honors course before, so they decide about midway through the course that they want honors distinction. At the same time, they may have decided going into 11th grade, I'm ready for that AP course. And so they would take AP US History. They would never have taken US History 2 with honors distinction prior to taking that AP US History course. And the same for the AP Language and Composition course. That is traditionally an 11th grade course done in that sequence, and they would not take the 11th grade honors distinction course. They would take the AP course instead. Same thing can happen with chemistry, biology, physics. There are AP courses, and if they take the AP course, they pretty much have not taken another course prior. The only reason we're suggesting for AP World History, our newest offering, that they get exposed to world history first is because you're trying to learn, I don't know, 800 years of history in a year. A little prior knowledge would help you a bit. Oh yeah, I do have a parent that pointed out I did have an 8th grade student take AP Calc AB. Yep, Dr. Nicosia, thank you for reminding me that. Like I said, we are having more and more students that are ready for those advanced courses. That's why we're trying to open it up. Other questions? I knew good wait time would actually open up the questions. Okay, if you do have any questions between now and the time that your child actually has to make their schedule. Oh, we have one more that's just popping in. But I do want at this point, maybe our best bet is if you have a question, feel free to stay. If you don't have a question, I don't want you to feel like you have to stay at this point. And for the counselors, and administrators, I can probably field most of the questions. You're welcome to stay, but again, don't feel like you have to at this point. Okay, so Sarah's iPhone, you've got
hi.
a question. No problem.
Real quick. So I didn't look about the teacher's recommendations yet, but if a child is, let's say, not recommended to take an honors class, do you need special permission to take the honors class? Or
great question. Okay, in
Thank
fact, of those that held on, I probably shouldn't have even suggested you leave yet. That was one of the questions I was waiting for.
You're welcome.
So, not a problem. I love those great questions. And so we have what's known as a waiver process. In other words, a recommendation was made, but a parent and a child can waive into a course they were not recommended for. I'll just put out there, the teachers really agonize over the recommendations. They don't want to discourage kids from taking courses, but they also want to make sure that when they recommend a kid, they are recommending them because they know they'll be successful. Okay, that doesn't mean they won't if they weren't recommended. And that's why we have the waiver process. It's universal. It's been around in many school districts for a long time. It's called different things, but basically what it says is we want to try that course even if we weren't recommended. Okay, parents fill that out, submit it to the counselor, and we do our best. And it's always best to do those waivers prior to the, and maybe actually Ms. Hayes, maybe you talk about the process of submitting waivers, because before I talk it through wrong, I'd like to make sure that any details that I might miss, you can explain.
Hi, so there is a course waiver form. I just want to point out that there is a deadline of May 1st for this form. Okay, so Mr. Lobianco is going to be meeting with the students to input their course requests. And if a student lets him know that they wish to go into a higher level than that they were recommended for, he will provide them with a copy of that form. And we also have a copy on our Google Classrooms as well. So I hope that answers the question.
Thank you. Yes.
And actually, let me explain the reason why the date's there. A lot of people think, well, we're going to change our mind in the middle of the summer. Okay, because my child's friend got into that advanced course and they're not in the same class with my child's friend. I got to tell you that that's not the best reason for a student to take an advanced course for social reasons. And almost all of the advanced courses have some kind of summer assignment to get you ready for that course. So if they change their mind in the middle of the summer, they're putting themselves a bit at a loss in trying to finish some of them. And definitely for AP courses, we have a required summer assignment. Not so typical for all the other courses. And in fact, I'm sure you know last summer, we didn't even have summer assignments because of the overwhelming nature of the pandemic. I saw a great question put in the chat there. What's the procedure for requesting a new after-school club like the ski club? Is there any way to contact teachers to see if anyone be interested in leading the club? Few parents are already interested in helping. This is a club that has been on and off over the years at Hbhs. Thanks. I'll let you know the last time I remember us having a ski club, I was a teacher. And so it was many years ago. I'm not saying that we can't. Out of school clubs, like something like this, there is a procedure that's involved in creating clubs. I have to receive a proposal. And so if there is a real interest in trying to create a club, the procedure is set up a meeting with me, and I'll walk you through the rest. Okay, so it just takes an email and then we can go in that direction. Getting teachers involved in doing a club voluntarily for its first year can be a bit of a lift. Not that teachers don't like to volunteer, but I do need you to know that most of our teachers that are involved in extracurricular programs are involved in numerous extracurricular programs. And that, I would say, is probably at least half my faculty is also involved in some extracurricular program of some sort. Yep, the recommendations, some people are seeing them now, but they will be available tomorrow. Any other questions? Everybody's anxious to stay because they think there's going to be one other thing that might be asked that they didn't even think about. That's kind of cool.
Mr. Lassiter, I'm sorry.
Yes, please.
It's in the chat, it's asking if the recommendations are going to be sent out by email.
No.
Okay.
Recommendations will only be available in Genesis. You have to log in and check your child's portal to see the recommendations. Someone direct message me, just so someone direct message me, can I put the link for the waiver form in the chat? No, I don't have it. That will be available when your child meets with their counselor. They can get the access to the waiver form at that time. To ask for the waiver form now before you may have even seen all the recommendations is a little early. Let's wait and see what the recommendations are. And then I would encourage you, if the recommendation isn't what you expected for your child, maybe your child should speak to the teacher as to why they didn't recommend them. That's a healthy conversation for your child to have. Okay. Any other questions?
When do we have to do the Google form for our electives and classes?
Okay, you'll start meeting with your Mr. Lobianco on March 10th. So you have all the way until March 10th really to complete that form, but try to get it done a little bit earlier. Ms. Hayes, Ms. Peterson, and Ms. Gore are going to be coming into your phys ed classes next week, the first few days in the week, to try to talk to you as well. So you have plenty of time. Okay, well, we're pretty much at 8:30. I had planned for this to end at 8:30. Okay, and so I would say that if you have any questions, feel free to stay behind and I'll be here and available. But I would wish you all a wonderful evening. I don't have to have a safe trip home. I'm sure you'll be able to do that. I can't actually wait until I can get up out of this chair. Have a great evening, everyone.